All right, it's on. Hey, what up? We are live at the home of Jack Holloway. He doesn't know it yet, but we're about to have a little bit of fun today with the Jack Holloway.
His reaction is always the best.
Hop in the car, fall asleep at the wheel. I'm out of it, looking like it's something for real. I don't even know what I think or what I feel. This is me. When I don't take myself right now. When rest just ain't a habit. This is me. When I let life just happen. You know that you got someone else.
Oh, what's up?
Jack Holloway, what
Hey,
up?
welcome to the pool party.
Hang out with us today, bro. We are live so that all of your church can see you today, hanging out at the live hangout at the home of Jack Holloway. You brought pizza, didn't you?
Yes.
You brought pizza, did? You brought pizza for us or just for you?
I guess.
You don't even know what for. Hey, you and I are gonna step right over here and we're gonna get ready for a little Bible study going on right here. Are you going to get in the pool right now? You are? All right, let's get in the pool, man, right now. We're going to have a little fun. Yep, take your phone off. Do that. Bro, I saved you the pink. No, the golden flamingo. My bro, you get the golden flamingo. And we're about to have a little fun here and now today. Oh, see, that feels so good. In the sun, it is so good. Oops, I'm floating away. Let's see here, Jack. Come over here and let's get in the screen right here, man. Here you go. I'll pull you in, bro. I'm pulling you in. There we go. Let's see. I'm going to put you up. Get your feet resting right up there. And, dude, we're going to have a little summertime Bible study chill right here in this pool. You down for that? Good, dude. Well, hey, guess what? I got my notes right here. And let's see, I'm keeping them dry. And we're going to jump in, have a little Bible study. And then, dude, it's going to be time for you to chomp into that pizza right there, man. We got a little game, by the way. Do you have any favorite games that you love to play when you're in the pool? Yeah, any favorite pool games? A little basketball? Dude, maybe we can get a little basketball going on over there and do that. Man, I love the music. Do you have any favorite pool time songs? What are your favorite pool time songs? Oh, is she really? We'll talk to her about that, man. We'll see if we can do something about that. But, man, I'm going to be real with you. I love me some country when it's summertime. Do you? Like, I love me some country, especially when you're out on the water. Dude, that's okay, man. That's okay. We're keeping it G-rated here, man. I left mine on, too, so we're cool. We're cool, man. Anyways, man, I want to jump into a little Bible study if we can. Let me see. I'm going to turn that music down right now. There we go. Did you see how that worked, man? That was incredible. Dude, I printed an extra set of notes if you want some Bible study notes with me right here, right now. I don't know if you know, Jack, but this summertime we are hanging out in the book of, do you remember by chance? Oh, dude, you were so good. Excellent. Do you know who wrote Romans by chance? That was Paul. That's exactly right. Do you know who he was writing to? Where was he writing to? A church where? It's in the name. That in Rome. There you go, dude. You are on it today, bro. So, anyways, man, dude, don't float away. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Anyways, we're broadcasting live. You'll say hey to any friends out there on YouTube. What's up, any and all of y'all? And so we're broadcasting live, doing a little live hangout right here, a little Bible study, and some fun in just a minute. Anyways, so the book of Romans. I really feel like this summertime, Romans is kind of like the playground. And we're going to be going all around in the playground this summertime. But today, I'm going to go back to something that we talked about this past Wednesday. Do you remember anything about the scripture we talked about? You were there with us. I remember seeing you. You were there with us. It was Paul. We're going deep. Nice. Yeah, that's the whole theme of Romans this summertime. By the way, dude, you look a little hot. I'm going to pull you off a little bit. You pull me off. That's fantastic, man. That is excellent. I love it. Very good, very good. The pool spit. You got to love it. Are you a pool spitter? I bet you are. You watch next time you're in the pool. Thanks, dude, for the chill off, cool down. Anyways, we're in the book of Romans. And yes, you're exactly right. That's the theme. We're talking about this idea of going deep which, by the way, I think the whole book of Romans is just like a huge, deep book. And so it's really good for us to jump into that. Well, last week we talked about this one phrase. It's actually right up there on the page. You see it. Romans chapter 1, verse 16 and 17, right up there at the top, right up at the top. And I want to go back and I want to kind of talk about this one phrase that Paul says, the very beginning of what you said. Can you read it out loud so our friends on YouTube can hear it as well? Romans 1, verse 16 and 17. What does it say?
The righteous shall live by faith. For I am ashamed, for I am not ashamed.
Not, you got to put the word not in there, dude.
It's kind of hard to.
It's hard to read. Here, I'm going to hold on to you. There you go, man. He's standing up. Excellent. The gold flamingo will float away. For I am
not ashamed of the gospel, for it's the power of salvation to everyone who believes.
Nice.
For it is the righteousness of God. It is revealed from faith for faith, as it is written.
The righteous shall live by faith. So, dude, I want you to know, by the way, I forgot we're supposed to social distance. I'm going to keep my distance. You keep your pizza over there. You go ahead and just start chowing down, and that'll be cool. Little poolside Devo here. But, man, I started thinking about that phrase, that one phrase, for I am not ashamed. For I am not ashamed. To all of you out there on YouTube and to all Jack Holloways enjoying his pizza right now, chowing it down. For I am not ashamed. Like, I've been thinking about that since this past Wednesday when we talked about that. For I am not ashamed. Like, what do you think that means? Like, what do you think Paul means by that? I wrote a couple of things down on here. You're welcome to read my notes. You can. If you want, there's an open notebook test that I'm giving you if you want. But what do you think, in your own words, does that mean? For I am not ashamed. What does Paul mean by that?
Not scared for the gospel.
Okay, I love that. So not scared. I love that. Not scared. Any other words you could put on that? Any other thoughts? Any other ideas that you could put on that? He's proud. I love that, dude. That's actually like one of the things I wrote down right here. He's proud. Like, man, I started thinking about it. So let me ask you, Jack. Have you ever done anything that you have been ashamed of? I'll even ask to our studio audience that is here with us. We've got the one and the only Kinsey Mutimer. Kinsey, can you come walk by? Just show them that you actually are alive in here. We've got the one and the only Jessica Chong with us, a.k.a. Sloth Lady today. And Sarah Beth Holloway, she's back there. She's our umbrella. She's keeping it shady. That's funny. Keeping it real shady over here. And anyway, so for y'all, when Paul says, for I am not ashamed, any thoughts, any ideas? I've got plenty. But wonder, do y'all have any by chance? When Paul says, for I am not ashamed, anyone? Any thoughts? If not, no words.
I think it means speaking out.
Yeah?
I think
Come show us your face right here. What's up?
I think it means speaking out whenever, even when it's uncomfortable about your faith, and doing so in love, and not being ashamed and cowering down or not speaking up for who you are and what you believe in a moment where it's tough.
Dude, that's good. That's really, really good. So I got to tell you a real story, man. I had a time in my life where I was very ashamed. Very ashamed. Okay, I'm going to tell you this story. It's kind of serious, kind of for real, but kind of not so much. You're going to reach, you know? So, and by the way, while I'm telling the story, like, I just want to ask you out there, has there ever been a time that you've been ashamed? How did you feel? Okay, here's my story from when I was ashamed. So we used to go to a restaurant called Lucky Snapper in Florida whenever we go to the beach. And they made the most amazing cheese biscuits that you have ever had in your life. Do you like cheese biscuits? You know what I'm saying? Cheese biscuits, kind of like a cheese muffin. And they were just amazing. Well, I will never forget this one time we went, and man, I am just like killing the baskets of cheese biscuits. I'm just eating them, just going to town on them and everything. And I remember when the time that my food came, like I was going to feel kind of bad for not eating any of my food because, you know, like food, you got to eat food. Well, anyways, I think before the night was over, like I had even eaten more cheese biscuits as like dessert. And so when I left the restaurant, dude, I was feeling I think the perfect word is ashamed of how many cheese biscuits that I had eaten. Like I just felt, I felt terrible. Like, and so kind of like, as I think of that story in my life, but as I also think of Paul, like I think about like, what is the opposite of being ashamed? When I felt ashamed, like I felt like pitiful. I felt sorry. Like I felt like terrible about myself. Like I wasn't proud of myself. Like I felt like really dumb. Like I felt like I was kind of like just doing something that I shouldn't have been doing, right? And I think in a way, like for all of us, like that's the way that sin makes everyone feel. Well, I love what Paul does. He kind of flips it. He says, Jesus Christ and his story, the greatest news of all time, that's the biggest thing. Here you go, drop. Gotta get that pepperoni, man. There we go. Here you go. Piece of bacon. You want it? Put it by. That's cool. You gonna eat it? Oh, dude, he's almost about to eat it. Anyways, this idea, I love what Paul says. He's like, I am ultimately proud of the gospel. I think what you said. I'm gonna speak up for the gospel. Man, just a couple of notes that I was thinking about when I was reading through and thinking through this. When you feel ashamed, you cover things up. You cover things up. But you know what? The gospel has come. It's come not to make us cover things up or feel ashamed. It's come to help us live freely. I love this verse right here. This is from Psalm 71. It's one of the psalmists. He says, my mouth will tell of your, what does it say right there? See right there? Your righteous acts, your deeds and your salvation all the day. Okay, and I love also, like Paul talks about somewhere else in Galatians 5. He says this, it was for freedom that Christ has, what does it say? Freedom. For freedom that Christ has set us, what does it say right there? Free. That's exactly right. It's for freedom that Christ has set us free. So I love this idea. Paul's talking about, he says, I don't shrink down. I don't cover things up because of the gospel. Man, I live freely because of the gospel, because I am not ashamed of the gospel. I wrote down this up here. You see this right here? When you're ashamed of something, you feel terrible and you feel sorry about that. Okay? Versus when you don't feel ashamed. When you are not ashamed, you feel, what does it say right there? You feel what? Alive, and you feel like you're living without what? What does it say right there? You're living without regret. Have you ever had any regrets in your life? I think we all have, right? Like maybe it's on the ball field, or maybe it was a decision we made. Like when we live being not ashamed of the gospel, we don't feel terrible or sorry. We feel alive and like we're living without regret. Here's one that I love that Kinsey, you just said, and you added into this. When you feel ashamed, you shrink back. Do you know what I'm saying? That you know what do I mean by shrink back? What do you think? Like, yeah, you kind of like you don't go for it. You like run away from it, whatever it is, right? Like you shrink back. So when we're ashamed, we shrink back. Well, I love what Kinsey just said. Paul, he went all out. He didn't shrink back from the greatest message of all time. He went for it. And I wrote this down right here. You shrink back when you are ashamed. You hold back versus when you are unashamed. And this is how Paul lived with the gospel. What does it say right there? When we're unashamed, or when we're ashamed, we shrink back and we hold back. But when we're unashamed, what does it say? You live boldly and you what? What's the next one? Does it say right there? You go for it. And you go all out for it. You go all in for it. I love this verse right here. My man, will you read it for us? Big and loud. It's this idea that God, he wants us to live boldly for him because he's given us himself. And what? Man, he's so many things, but one of the biggest things, he is bold and he is compassionate. He is daring. He is caring in all instances. He doesn't shrink back, but his spirit is bold as he pushes us to go for it. What does that say right there? 2 Timothy 1:7.
For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control.
Okay, I love that. So God has not given us a spirit of what? What was the first word there? Not of fear, not of shrinking back, not of holding back, but what? But of self-control, of love, and of boldness. And I love that. So when I was thinking about Paul, he said, I am not ashamed of the gospel. He basically said, the gospel is the biggest trophy that I have in my trophy case. Okay, for you hunters or fishermen out there, like the gospel is the biggest thing that's hanging over my fireplace mantle, so to say. He says, the gospel is the most valuable thing that I have. And no matter what, I am never ashamed of it. Okay, I want to give a challenge to us that are listening. I want to give us a challenge to check your shame versus your healthy pride levels. I want to give you this challenge to check your shame versus your healthy pride levels. Okay, in Mark chapter 8, if you want to check that out, it talks about if you're ashamed of Christ, then Christ will basically, he will prove to be ashamed of you. He wants us to live boldly and proudly for him. Here's some questions that I would give to us today. Jack, I give this to you. I give this to me. I give this to Kinsey. I give this to any and everyone that's listening. Is Jesus or is the gospel just a game to you? Is Jesus or is the gospel just a game to you? In other words, how valuable is Jesus to you? Okay, how valuable is Jesus to you? I can tell you how you know how valuable something is by how much time you spend with it. Okay, if your phone is valuable to you, then you spend a lot of time with it. If your friends are valuable to you, then you spend a lot of time with them. Well, how valuable is God to you? I think of a song that I love, and we'll close with this thought and this idea. Do you like listening to music, my man? Yeah. Do you like listening to worship music by chance? Have you ever heard of a group called Elevation worship by chance. I'm sure you've heard some of their stuff. Probably listened to their stuff. Have you ever heard of a song called Graves into Gardens? By chance. Dude, I got him right here. What? You just asked for what I was wanting you to ask for. I love what it says in this song, and I'd love to encourage any of y'all that are listening to go in and check out this song on YouTube or wherever, however you stream your music. Graves into Gardens. I love what it says. You want to read line by line? You want to read line? I'll read line. Can we do that? He says this. I love this. I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. I think I might have mistyped right there. But it couldn't fill me. I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along, the singer singing about Christ, singing about the gospel, singing about God. Then you came along and you put me back together. And every desire is now satisfied here in your love. And I love it. It goes on. It goes on to say, oh, there's nothing that's better than you. There is nothing that's better than you. So I just want to challenge all of us. When we think of Paul's words, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Are we ashamed of the gospel? Or do we wear it with pride? Do we talk about it with pride? Do we go forward boldly with it in a sense of humble pride because of the greatest gift that God has given to all of us? Well, dude, let me pray. I don't know if you checked out any of these live hangouts, but the best part, I think, is yet to come. We have a little Bible study. You obviously have a little food, and we play a little game out for the day. You ready for some game time? Yeah. Maybe we can play some basketball. I got another game up my sleeve. We'll see what we do. Let me pray for us. Lord God, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you so much for Jack Holloway. I'm just so encouraged by his boldness and his willingness to live out the gospel in his life, not only in his, but his whole family's. Lord God, I ask and pray that we will, like Paul, never be ashamed of the greatest news, the greatest victory, the greatest grace that has ever come over our life, the grace that is found in you through your son, Jesus, our relationship with you through the gospel. Lord, I pray and ask that we will never be ashamed as well in Jesus' name. Amen. Dude, we've had a little Bible study. It's time for a little fun. I brought a little game with us that I would basically just call Random Chunk. Thank you so much, Mother Holloway. You are the best. Thank you so much. Man, I love Sprite, dude. Is there any better drink than Sprite? You want to chug it? Dude, I just drank one sip. Drink your sip. We'll have a little race. We do have a little game coming up called Random Chunk. As we chug this Sprite and see who wins right here, we're going to go ahead and set everything ready. We're basically going to be jumping in the pool for random items. Does that sound good to you? All right, is this like for real drink, or can I just like pour it over my face? We're going for real. All right, we're going for real. Ready, set, go. Can I do that on YouTube? Look at my eyes. Dude! Oh man, that was a burp. That was a burp. That wasn't anything else, I promise. Oh!
You guys going, Doug?
Man, I need some refreshment after that, man. That was ridiculous. I don't think I've ever chugged a Sprite that fast. Have you? Dude, I hope not, man. I better not throw up in your pants. Cool, man. All right, so here is the deal. We're going for Random Chunk. Jack, we've got all kinds of items up there. Kinsey, will you show the camera what we're about to throw and do that? Wow, that Sprite's got me dying over here. Yeah, Jessica, can you get it and face it a little bit more towards the pool? And Jack, you and I have got to jump in to see what we're about to do right here.
We're going to be throwing some miscellaneous items.
Right here. Did I do this?
Out of the box of fun.
Very good, very good.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, by the way,
We will see. We will see who wins.
Do you like popcorn? That you can? Right there? You like some of that? All right, very good. Hey, can we aim it just a little bit more that way? All right, right there, and aim it up a little bit more, and that'll be perfect. Yeah, Kinsey, can you just show the object to the camera before you launch it, and that'll be awesome. Cool. Maybe let's get it to aim this way a little bit more. There we go. Yes, we can see it. All right, dude. You want me to go first? So the object is, the idea is to catch whatever object comes your way.
Ready? All right, first we're going to throw a wiffle ball.
Very good, wiffle ball. I'm ready for this. So the defense, like back here, is that right? You can jump right here. You're not gonna break my neck, baby. Bring it, baby! Did you jump on me?
I got it though.
You got it, guys. All right, so let's go to the next round.
All right, Grant. All right, we're going
All
to
right,
be
who's
throwing
this next one for? Who's this next
a
one for?
dodgeball for Jack.
Who's this for?
Jack.
For Jack. All right, you
Ready,
got the dodgeball. You got the dodgeball. Big chunk, get it, baby. Nice. All right, what's next right here?
We're gonna do another wiffle ball.
Let's do 2 wiffle balls.
2 wiffle balls. Ready,
Let's
Grant?
see how
You gotta
different
catch both
skills
of
are.
them.
All right, give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Got one.
Ridiculous.
All right, Jack. Now you have a challenge. We're gonna throw a
All right, Jack's next.
basketball, and he's going to attempt to make it in a goal off screen. It's okay. It's off
All right,
screen.
Jack. You gotta get it and shoot it.
Try to grab it
Get it
and
and
aim
shoot
for
it.
the.
Hey, can we make this a little bit easier?
Yeah, we'll make it a little bit easier.
There we go.
Are you
There we
ready?
go. Boom.
Oh, he actually
Yeah,
almost
not so
made
much.
it. Almost made it. Let's see
So
if Grant
close
can do it.
there.
All right, Grant. Same challenge.
I'm doing the same thing.
You ready? Set.
Okay.
Finally. And he missed.
It didn't look on. All
All
right,
right. The next thing we're
Jack.
throwing on paddle.
dude. A ping pong paddle, dude. I'm pretty sure you can do this.
You ready?
I'm pretty sure you got this.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Back throw.
so
Back throw.
close,
It's
so
okay.
close.
What was that throw?
It's okay. It's
No,
okay.
man.
We have a second ping pong
All right,
paddle.
second ping pong
I
paddle.
prepared for this.
Let's see here. What's up, boy? You come jump in on this?
You ready?
I'm gonna try to do like an aerial. Like, can I do that while I'm doing it?
I don't know. Something.
Yeah. Ah!
Grant, what was that?
He looks
All right, Jack, come forward.
That
to
was
this one.
dirty.
Next, he has to catch the box of Frosted Flakes.
And you gotta keep it dry too.
So you got to throw it out.
oh, my hands are wet. So.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, that's
You
about
ready?
it. Hand wetness is finest.
Nope.
Nice.
Oh!
Nice. Excellent. All right, I think we should do one more round. Do you have anything else ridiculous? How about this? If do you want me to try to catch the Cheetos for you, or do you want to catch the Cheetos?
I'll catch the hot Cheetos.
You'll catch the hot Cheetos.
All right, we're aiming
Excellent.
to catch the party-size hot
Very
Cheetos.
good. If you catch them, you get them.
He's already
you
eating
don't-
the Frosted Flakes.
I think this is the last round right here.
You got to keep
Right
them dry.
Kinsey, you got to put them out like farther. You got to give them a challenge. Save that challenge. He kept it alive. So good. Well, hey, it has been so awesome hanging with all of you that came to be a part with us on our live hangout today. Hope that you will come and be a part with us again. For now, we just have sloth time. Whatever the sloth wants to do, we let the sloth do what she does. Jack Holloway, you are the man. Thank you so much for letting us come. Sloth dive. Nice. Jack, dude, let's just get a good little look. Oh, 6 feet apart, of course. Anyways, dude, I just want you to know that that was really dirty how you pushed me. And I'm not going to do it to you. Anyways, congrats to you on the big wins and live hangout. We'll check you later. Stay awesome. Bye. Oh my gosh, it feels so good.